Sure.
Sorry to cut you off. We're going back to Lydia. We have a ruling on immunity. Lydia, what do you got?
Yeah, Ash, this is the big one we've had all eyes on right now. We're getting this just in. Former President Donald Trump from the Supreme Court of the United States does have immunity, and it appears that the decision is limited to his official acts. Remember, a big question after the lower courts in the District of Columbia decided that the former president had no immunity across the board. Would the Supreme Court come back and say, wait a second, we can so-called split the baby? He has immunity for some acts, not others. Official acts, perhaps, not immunity for unofficial acts.
And the leftists' heads are going to explode. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel, like content, and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, the new training addendum has kicked in July 1st. So you're going to get your permit. Make sure you're vigilant in getting your training done. Make sure it's compliant with the state. If you have your permit, watch the expiration date. Don't let it expire. There's a link to the online renewal portal for the state of Connecticut for permits in the description box. Keep an eye on that. Let's talk about this. And this is breaking news. Let me give you the background. For those of you, if you don't know, then I don't know what to tell you. But Jack Smith, the special appointed prosecutor who has been investigating Trump for what happened on January 6th, filed charges against him, claiming insurrection and everything else. Trump went to the Supreme Court and said, I am covered. I have immunity for official acts while in the process of my duties as president. The Supreme Court has just come forward and said, yes, we agree with you in a 6-3 decision. Now, why am I talking about this? Some of y'all going, what is this about? Whoever's in the White House controls policy. For the most part, this is all about us, because we know that these indictments that they brought against Trump are politically motivated to damage his chances in 2024. And this is a massive one. Now, the porn star hush money nonsense, nobody really cared about that. And you could see that in the polls. So now the Democrats are once again going after him as any way they can to undermine his chances. But this is monumental. Once again, whoever's in the White House controls policy. Whoever controls policy controls American day-to-day life. This is important for us to have a president in the White House who is not hell-bent on disarming us. That's why I'm talking about this, if you haven't figured that out. But this is huge. But I'm going to bring you into here. Trump wins. Supreme Court says president's covered by immunity for official acts. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of former President Donald Trump on Monday, holding in a 6-3 decision that presidents are covered by limited immunity from criminal prosecutions for actions taken while in office. And this is important because if they can go after Trump for what happened on January 6th while in capacity of president, you can pretty much line up any president and go Iran-Contra, Reagan, Carter, and the botch in Iran. I mean, we could just go on and on. We could just go after any president. But the court held, according to the summary of the decision, under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts, which kind of leaves the door open somewhat. The court also ruled that a president is entitled to a pretrial hearing on immunity that can be appealed all the way to the Supreme Court before a trial begins. This means that any trial of the former president will take place after the November 5th, 2024 election. And that's what's going to infuriate. Trust me, you're going to see just a landslide of liberal angst and Democrat anger that the Supreme Court ruled this way. Expect to hear a lot of it. Okay? They are not going to be happy with this. Chief Justice John Roberts, writing the opinion for the court's conservative majority, said, "This case poses a question of lasting significance. When may a former president be prosecuted for official acts taken during his presidency? Our nation has never before needed an answer. But in addressing that question today, unlike the political branches and the public at large, we cannot afford to fixate exclusively or even primarily on president exigencies in a case like this one focusing on transient results may have profound consequences for the separation of powers and for the future of our republic." Like I said, they can go after any president. If this were to go, and the court said, no, you don't have immunity, and January 6th trial goes through and Trump's found guilty, you can go after any president. It gets crazy. The president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. The president is not above the law, but Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution, and the system of separated powers designed by the framers have always demanded an energetic, independent executive. The president, therefore, may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled to, at a minimum, to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. That immunity applies equally to all occupants of the Oval Office, regardless of politics, policy, or party. Yeah. And then, of course, I'll leave this article in the description box. I'm not going to cover everything here, but Justice Thomas also jumped in and gave his opinion when he was part of the majority. But I want to come down to here, because the leftists on the court are not happy with this, but Justice Sonia Sotomayor led the court's 3 liberals in dissenting, writing, "Never in the history of our republic has a president had reason to believe that he would be immune from criminal prosecution if he used the trappings of his office to violate the criminal law. Moving forward, however, all former presidents will be cloaked in such immunity. If the occupant of that office misuses official power for personal gain, the criminal law that the rest of us must abide will not provide a backstop. We fear for our democracy. I dissent." They always, the Democrats always say democracy. I fear for democracy, attack on democracy. What they're talking about is their democracy. Democracy, what is it? TM. Their democracy, their version of democracy. That's what they're complaining about. Don't get that twisted. But I'm going to say this, because what Sotomayor here is saying comes with a double-edged sword. It's a bit of a hypocrisy. Because if you can basically go after Trump while president for what happened on January 6th, just remember, Obama killed an American citizen without due process with a drone strike. Anwar al-Awlaki. Now, they claim he was, basically a terrorist, and he was, his speech led to terrorist acts. That's what they say. But they killed an American citizen without due process. And then, like a week later, killed the man's teenage son in another drone strike, something that they have never answered for. They kind of threw out the AUMF law to basically say that we're justified in doing this. But Anwar al-Awlaki was an American citizen who, by American law, was entitled to due process, and Obama killed him with a drone strike. If you say Trump is guilty of January 6th and has no immunity, then Obama has no immunity and should be on murder charges. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, as far as let's come out, this is going to have twofold effect on this Jack Smith January 6th trial. Either it's definitely going to delay it past November 5th. That's a given, because that's what the Democrats want. They want all these indictments to go through before the election so they can use it to undermine the election. But this will not happen before the election, just as much as the election interference trial down in Georgia, because Fani Willis is under scrutiny, and that will not happen either. A part of me worries a little bit. Democrats have no boundaries. They really don't. When it comes to them in power, they have no boundaries. And I keep always in my mind thinking of the Matrix that Andrew Tate used to talk about. First they try to silence you, then they try to jail you, and then they try to kill you. They have tried to silence him through social media. They have tried to jail him through all these indictments. I'm just saying, but that's just my little conspiracy theory. But this is massive news, massive news. It delays the January 6th trial until after the election. And that's very important because the Democrats wanted that to use it as a political tool. We all saw the debate. We all saw what happened. But once again, breaking news, and it does apply to us as gun owners. Another 4 years of Biden, and God help us if they get the Senate and the House. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.